Some say it's all about 1925 and beyond. The podcast. KC 100 year celebration with Pete A. Kennedy and Marlon A. Kennedy.
Welcome to the 1925 and Beyond podcast. My name is Pete A. Kennedy, your host, and I'm excited about the guest that we have this evening that is joining us. And I want to say this podcast is geared to Kingston College KC 100 year celebration. And there's so much we're learning. There's so much stories about KC. I'm telling you, this one is going to be good. What you have to share with them, my brother?
Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Our guest today is a very close friend and colleague of mine. We served in the Jamaica Defense Force. I want to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Warrenton Dixon. Warrenton Dixon is going to share his story about his time before KC, during KC, and what the remarkable things he has done since he has left Kingston College. So, Warrenton, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Marlon. But I was just reflecting that our path crossed more than those KC, because remember we woke up again at the Commander Training Center, Royal Marines in England,
yes,
where you were ahead of me in training, and I'd gone and gotten your green beret and your dagger and your fancy stuff and so forth and things. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, man. But yes, thanks. Thank you, gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the program, and thanks for the consideration. I look forward to seeing make a contribution to this 100th year of celebration of KC, a school that it's not even a school. It's a institution. It really has done a lot more than school in the lives of many.
Yeah. And one of the things that we learned before you start, Warrenton, that we spoke to Helen Douglas some time ago, and one of the things she told us was that in the 70s there was a big fire with KC, and
77 as a matter of fact.
Yeah, the boys went all island seeking contribution to build back the school. And one of the things she said was that in order them for travel all island, other schools contributed buses for the KC man them travel. So it wasn't just the KC man them alone moved. Other schools contributed as well. And even speaking to another old boy named Audley Hewitt, he spoke about, the fact that him have Calabar bridging and KC bridging, and the Calabar man them love KC, but they can't say it. Right? They can't say it. I'm shit with it, because there was a lot of respect as well. But thanks for joining us, Warrenton. I wanted to kick it off, just tell us, let the KC family and others know about you with your time, from growing up just before KC and pushing it beyond that.
My nickname at KC was Country, and I think it really described who I was before KC, during KC, and after KC. I grew up in East Rural St. Andrew in a place called Dallas Castle. My mom was from Trelawney, Warsop Trelawney. So it's either I was in Dallas or I was in Warsop Trelawney. Both of them are, country. and I had no exposure at all to anything town. I was as country as they get. I didn't know anything about anything town. I didn't know about KC. I didn't know about any other school. I know nothing about any high school. I attended Dallas all-age school, and I had a little bit of a head. I wasn't really dunce. I wasn't the brightest student in the class, but I wasn't dunce. And my principal, Miss Hazel Patterson, HP, she realized that there was potential, and she recommended, she was teaching us common entrance, or the common entrance class, as it was at the time, and she recommended that I select KC as the school that's my first choice. I wanted to go to. I had no Scooby what it meant. I just she said that, and me no know no better anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she, you know, I mean, I do it. I do what you say. And, you know, I mean, I grew up in this place and with my mom and my stepfather, my sister by my father's side, and brother and sister by my stepfather's side, my mother and of course stepfather's side.
That's a total of 4?
That was second.
That's a total of 4, you guys, right?
That was yeah, total of four,
Yep.
4 kids, and of course my mother and stepfather. My father also lived in Dallas, but he was not involved in my life in any way really. And when I passed common entrance, and my mother sent me to link him and say, boy, this I go on and see if you can help with tuition and that type of stuff. He said that I would have to come up there and up to his house and do chores and so forth for him to do that. I don't know if it was an unreasonable comment. I don't know. I don't think about it, but it just didn't seem reasonable. Whether it was reasonable or not, it didn't seem reasonable. And from that, I just didn't link him or didn't try to get any help from him with anything. My mom.
So Lieutenant Colonel, not to cut you, but
Yeah.
just for our listeners, just to kind of clear some things as we go along. You're saying that you passed your test to go to high school.
Yeah.
Your mom reached out to your dad and say, hey, this is what took place, you know, needing some financial help. And he says, how you get the financial help is come up to the house and work in order to get the support. Just wanted to make sure that's what we heard clearly with this story.
Yeah, that is the story.
Wow.
My mom, I always look back on this part, you know, and hope that I give my mom the credit that she do, you know. My mom realized from I was going to pass common entrance because it was clear I wasn't done. So I wasn't an A student, but I wasn't done. So I was going to pass. And she decided that she was going to go market and start sell stuff downtown. And so, you know, we would that became a big characteristic. We're going to go into the KC part, but the KC part is not going to be about the education at KC.
Yeah,
it's just going to be what my life was when I was going to KC. You understand?
Yes.
Because now I am leaving Dallas with a basket of ackee and some soursop and some mango and some banana, and me have to try to make this one agree again. I must say banana and I remember that the soursop and the mango agree, and then we spoil.
You can't put them together.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Me try to get one a little Land Rover them.
Yeah.
Me try to get one a little Land Rover for leave from Dallas to go Papine 19 miles away, because if me not catch that, I have to walk. And boss man, it was an adventure. Trust me. The amount of days me walk up Papine from Dallas and Dallas from Papine.
And Warrenton, before you go no further, for people who don't really understand this thing, you know, as a military man, we do some treading through them hills there.
Yeah.
A Land Rover alone go up there, so, you know, no bus, no car, a Land Rover. And Pete, let me tell you this. In the early 2000s, when I walk through them place, they are trained soldier. The Land Rover, them when I see up there, you know, Pete, are from in the 70s, them Land Rover, they still running up.
Yeah.
And Pete, them Land Rover, they pack people up on the roof.
Yeah.
The door not there on it, people outside, them and the produce. So another joke thing, weren't I tell you about?
No, another joke thing.
Dallas, up in the Dallas mountain, far.
I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, man.
As a matter of fact, one of the things I enjoyed doing was riding on the top of the Land Rover.
See it there?
Because well, I guess it was the adventure of it, but the reason I was on the top was mostly because inside was packed with people and produce and things like that. So me and some of my brethren used to take a lot of fun out of the skill of riding on
Yeah,
top
on top of
of
the
Land
Land
Rover,
Rover.
which was a very dangerous thing because a couple of
Yeah,
them turned off.
yeah.
You understand? A couple of them run off of the road and that type of stuff. Fortunately, that didn't happen to me, but trust me, yeah, the whole thing about
Wow.
Casey was an adventure, my youth. Then came the part now where my stepfather used to look after porridge to carry because we don't have the money. We don't have the money. We don't have the money. My stepfather used to look after porridge to give me for lunch. So I have a little shed pan, if you could call it that I carry in a school bag with porridge. And the school bag is not like a lunch kit where it is nicely seated. It's just a normal book bag where you book them and there's porridge in there. And religiously, every single time the porridge touch up on my book them. So you know, say I book them in just in a really bad state.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
You know
yeah.
me? And
whoa.
so one of the name them called me a Casey was porridge. Yeah, I'd be country did stick, but
Country and
porridge was one of
porridge.
the first name I did get.
Yeah, yeah.
When we go Casey. Boss
Yeah.
man, my entire life at Casey was strictly adventure. It wasn't about I don't tell you about
Wow.
much about school and this subject and that it's just a country life
Wow.
interfacing with school. That's all it was. That's all it was. Then me and my stepfather couldn't agree. My mother not did it because she did a market. I try to make sure get
Yeah,
her
yeah.
education. And me and my stepfather couldn't agree. And Marlon will tell you, I'm a very own way kind of guy. If I'm holding a point, you can get the 8 billion people in the world to disagree with me.
The political
I am
correct term is
fine with it.
headstrong, Warrenton. You're headstrong.
That's another word. That's another term. That's another term. But yeah, it started from them time there.
Yeah.
And my stepfather and I, we didn't agree. I remember one day, I have to go down the road, go catch. We live up on a hillside. It's just a nature thing. I had to go to the pipe to catch water down at the school and thing. And we go down there and ramp and thing down there, waste time, and I enjoy myself. And him will get upset and want to beat me. Every time I get beaten with tambourine switch, you know tambourine switch, right? The tambourine,
Yeah.
you ever get beaten with tambourine switch, man?
No, sir.
No.
It's like an
Never get that
electrical
one.
wire. It is as flexible as an electrical wire. It not break, but it has a little sprangs because where the leaves grow, you just take off the leaves off, but it has a little sprangs. And so they used to get beaten with tambourine switch. An electrical wire, but more tambourine switch than electrical wire. And so this particular day, I am walking up the hillside. It's just a path. It's a footpath. There's no more space than for 2 foot on the path. And as I go up the hill, I see my stepfather stomping towards me. And with him tambourine switch in his hand. And I know what was going to happen. And as I walked towards him, I thought to myself, all right, I have this bucket of water on my head. To my right, there's a deep precipice. He's going to hit you with the tambourine switch. Do you want to let the bucket fall over the gully and break apart and the water throw away? Or are you going to just ignore him and just walk past him? And I thought, ignore him and walk past him is going to hurt him more. So I chose that one. And so said, so done. I come up to him. He gave me one slap across my back with the tambourine switch. I didn't miss a beat. I didn't even show him that I noticed that he hit me. I walked past him, keep the bucket on my head same way, walk around to the house, throw the water into the drum, and of course he paused. He paused because of course he didn't expect that I'm going to drop the water and think. So he paused. He didn't hit me after that. Came behind me, stomping. And after I threw the water into the drum, he grabbed me by the collar. And I grabbed him by the collar. I grabbed him by the collar and I made my fist up to punch him. And I stopped. because I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't a bad youth. I wasn't the kind of youth that you see on the street. You understand? I didn't grow up like that. I was at my home, carrying water. I might hang out, carry the water a little bit because the whole of my life I'm there in the yard. But I wasn't the kind of guy that you're going to come.
So that him slap, that him switch you for because you take too long to come back with the water.
Because I take too long to carry the water come. Right. So him call me up and thing, and I call him up back. I'm gonna make a fist him and he say, "Oh, so you're a bad man." Anyway, the long and short of it, him throw me out of the house. And so for the next, I don't remember how much months I was living outside. I actually go down by the school down at the primary school, and between me and the security guard who watchman keep try to run me out of the school at night time. I leave from out of the schoolyard and come to KC a morning time, and you know, we try to find two mango to eat at evening time and go Papine and walk from Papine.
And you were at what age at this time, Lieutenant Colonel?
Between 12, 13, 14, them kind of age. Them kind of age. And it was just an adventure. I didn't mope about it, you know. I didn't mope about it. I didn't think about it like, why this is too stressful for me to be doing my education and living like this. For me, it was just another day.
You didn't play the victim.
No. And that has, boss man, you don't know how that has shaped my life.
Of course.
We can deal with anything. Me expect anything. And me quite okay with it. Me understand? As far as I'm concerned, life is a latrine. So you're not supposed to be surprised when you step in at certain things. You understand? Life, it's just how it is. Life is a latrine. You should be surprised. Why are you surprised?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was it, boss man. And and so I lived outside I was homeless. Then my mother moved. My mother leave my stepfather, and then she was living at up Whitehall. And the same thing, me go and she, it was obey and stay and disobey and go kind of thing. And outside and then Miss Douglas at KC, I didn't even know how she know. As a God, I didn't even know how she know what going. You understand? But she took me in the final year of KC and had me stay with George Thompson, who was the Manning Cup coach at the time.
Yeah, George T.
George T.
Yeah.
So for the last 6 months, my last 6 months at KC, from January to June, I lived with George T. Because outside of that, I was homeless. You understand? I was like living out a door kind of thing. And me never do good. I didn't piece it together like this, you know. I didn't piece it together. I wasn't like a youth thinking, oh boy, this is why I would understand the subject in class. I would understand the subject in class. I have no difficulty learning stuff. But when the exam time come, me just not piece the thing together. Me not feel pressure in an exam. Me not feel pressure. So I can't say a pressure. It wasn't coming together.
Never that click them time there.
It never click. Let me tell you how my life changed. Another adventure now changed my life. At KC. Me buck up in a thing called Key Club. Buck up in a thing called Key Club. Oh, you notice that me not play no sports at KC?
Yeah.
All man like me not play no sports at KC. Man will play, no, you see me a sports billing me in everything. I played no sports at KC because my parents say, you know, go school for play sports. You go KC, Jesus, please. You go KC, and you don't get no chance to play. You can't say you did the part, you didn't even depend on the squad. You never care orange. You go get nobody.
Are you trying for this side?
Not even orange. Me don't care. Go get nobody. You get me? That did wicked. That wicked. And then, yeah. So Anyway, they're gonna come back to the key club thing. They're gonna come back to the key club thing. But they're gonna tell you the wickedest experience at KC. They're gonna tell you the wickedest experience at KC. In my most embarrassing day of my entire life. So, my countryman, me don't know nothing about nothing. Me don't know how people think about anything. Look here, when me tell you my country, me really country. Really, really, really country. My mother buy me a jumper suit. Think Bruce Lee. Think Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee think them back in the them day, yeah? But no, think pink. Pink.
Pink.
Boss man, this is what happened. This is what happened. On
Well, I know. A pink Bruce Lee jumper suit.
Pink.
We got school?
Pink. She
Social
she never buy it for me. We go school, you know. She buy it for me. And we were having Mayfair. Remember Mayfair?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Mayfair. Ellen talk about it, Miss Douglas.
Yeah, we were having Mayfair. Yeah. Mayfair had a big thing.
Big
It was huge, huge thing. And so I was excited. I'm going to Mayfair. And I have this Bruce Lee jumper suit. I'm gonna sport it. I'm gonna sport my Bruce Lee suit. And put on my Bruce Lee suit and from Dallas to KC and back. Boss man, I am sure you can imagine all the comments along the way that I was completely unprepared for. Because me no know nothing about nothing. Me never think, it never crossed my mind one day yet. Say pink a woman something.
But
especially back then.
And as far as you're concerned, your dress no Potest foot.
Oh, me Bruce Lee. Me Bruce Lee. I was Bruce Lee. How can you be laughing at me? I am Bruce Lee, but dressed like Bruce Lee.
Lieutenant Colonel,
oh my God. Boss man.
Yeah, cha-cha boy like ding dong.
I left the good Mayfair early.
Yeah, man.
Because I was laughed to scorn. I was laughed to scorn that day. I was so embarrassed. Of course, that's the last day I wore that thing. But it was fun. It makes a good story. It makes a lovely story.
Oh, definitely.
If it was white or anything like that, I wouldn't be talking about it. No. So there you go. They made a great story. Next adventure, it came towards the end of my KC years. I had joined Key Club. And the truth is that, well, I don't know about anybody else, but Key Club them days, there was a way to get woman. Because I don't like say I get a whole from woman. I don't a galley or anything like that. I like say have all of them chick them from over Alpha or anything like that. You understand? So you sent Hughes or sisters. No. Key Club was thing and boom, boom, boom. And yes, I did meet a young lady and she her friends and she invited me to a church camp. The idea of church never did really appeal to me, but a church camp with the girl and thing and whatever. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Until the first day I give my life to the Lord and then every other thing just never fall into place like how you expect things would go. And that made a huge difference. That was like the rest of my life now. The few months left for KC, I was let me tell you something. When I tell you that I was religious, I'm not about religious. I was Christian. I mean, I devoted. I walk on the street. I'm evangelizing to people as a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I'm devoted. I went on to memorize 10 New Testament books verbatim. 10. I entered quiz, and if you said 2 words, I can tell you where it come from.
Mm-hmm.
Right away. You know, it's school challenge quiz. It's school challenge quiz type of thing. Look here. By the time you said 2 words, I can tell you where it come from. All of them. So I had this new identity, and I was respected, I was loved, I was nurtured, I was discipled, I was mentored, I was guided, I was educated, I was parented. I started to live. Swallowfield Chapel. My life changed. My perspective on life changed. My perspective on education changed. This is the close of my KC time. Those days you used to do, I don't know, remember what you used to call it, but the exam used to be in November. Your exams used to be in November. And the exams were what determined whether or not you graduated. Because graduation would happen, I think, in June before you get your CXE results anyway. So the exams in November is what would determine whether you graduate. And you would have to pass 5 subjects. I can't remember, but it's something like 5 subjects you have to pass or something like that. I only had passed 2. I passed chemistry and math. And those were the subjects I was consistently passing. I understand the others, but I wasn't passing them. And I'd fail it. And now it's coming around to June. I'd become a Christian in April. Went to the camp in April. May is exam, is CXE exam. June is graduation. And boy, I know me not tell my mother say based on what me perform in November, me not graduate. And thing. But I had this new lease on life. My Christian, and I started to believe in faith and things and praying and whatever. And I got a new education perspective on education. I studied differently. I understood things differently, and I put in things, and I'm gonna go. Boom, I do my CXC, whatever. Boom, waiting on the results, and thing. Graduation time come on. And I said to Miss Douglas, sheepishly, Miss, can I come to graduation? And she said, yes, come, yes. And I went. Of course, me tell my mother to graduation. But I went there expecting that my name would never be called, because it's June and things are prepared from November. And me not supposed to graduate. So maybe she invite me to come to feel good, but she not gonna call my name. So me not get, boss man, when my name call, I don't know if you have the picture. Let me tell you something. If you see the picture of me collecting my KC certificate, it looked like a fly past the stage. I was moving so fast, I couldn't believe it that they called my name. Me go up on the stage so fast. All my
Just in case I mistake them, make.
I tell you.
we can't wait for them to find out and then change their mind. We're going to tell my mother. You understand? So I went up there. I flew. I just like flew up there and got the damn thing. I got back down. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So happy.
Yeah.
But boss man,
Yeah.
that's the last time I failed anything. That was the last time I failed anything.
Yes.
I thanks to Swallowfield Chapel. Thanks to Swallowfield Chapel. I my new faith. When I got back my CXC result, I could only do 5 subjects anyway. My mother could only afford 5. When I got my CXC result, I closed my eyes, I hold the paper in front of me. I open my eyes and I close it fast. And with my eyes closed, I could remember seeing several 2s. And I go, what? And I open my eyes and look at the paper. And I had passed 4 subjects and failed 1. English. I'd failed English language. And I got a 4. And the geography teacher saw me and come to me and she said, Warrenton, I can't cuss you because you pass. That's also how bad it was because of I was doing so well in class, and then I would pass. I would fail the test. I pass geochemistry, I pass maths, and I pass metalwork. Church took me on, and I went and did. Should I say this shame? Should I be ashamed by saying it? I went over to George's evening classes and did English and physics. I passed them. As I said, this is the last time I failed anything. Physics had kicked me out of KC after I get 4% in the test. And I think I got a similar 4% in TD. Them kick me out, tell me don't come back. I passed physics. I then went to, thanks to a scholarship from church, I went to UTech. And I mean, prior to going there as a student, I worked there in the lab as a chemical technician. But I ended up going there to study chemical technology. And that covered a wide range of subjects, to include TD and physics. I aced those subjects. I aced them. And my perspective on life was deep. My perspective on education was different. There was nothing that a teacher could teach that I couldn't learn to teach it better than the teacher. That was my perspective. If a teacher can teach it, I can learn it so well that I can teach it better than a teacher.
Yep.
So it was never gonna be a question of whether or not I was going to fail or going to pass. It was going to be how well I'm going to pass. That was it. Because my faith was different. So I did well. I was either most outstanding student or runner-up most outstanding student. I was most outstanding in first year, runner-up in second year, and most outstanding in third year. In my third year, though, it wasn't that I got the best grades. My friend Winji, she got A's in almost everything, I think, except 3 subjects. She got maybe all A's, and then like we were doing 4, like I don't remember, like it was 14 things in all, including labs and straight subjects and whatever is not. And she got straight A's, like 2 B's, and then she failed Pascal programming. She failed Pascal programming not on her fault, but because the teacher didn't come to class. The teacher didn't teach us anything. But I had a lease on life that says, I am not leaving my education to no teacher. She had come 1 and 2 times and caused me to understand that there's a thing called coding, where you write a little thing here and you write a little thing there, and the computer responds based on what you write. And so I would go, and bear in mind, these are new days for computers for me.
Yeah, early days.
This is early days for computers.
T-ball and co.
So you go around there and run at the computer lab, and you put in a little thing here, and you put in a nothing to work, and you put in a little thing here, and put in a little thing there, and it no work. But by the time exam came around, I had learned just enough try to teach my classmates some things. I learned just enough to get a C plus, which was a pass.
Mhm.
And because of that one pass and passing everything else, while my friend and competition who was getting straight A's close, she failed the one subject.
She had
I mean,
one
I don't,
failure.
yeah, the one. I feel really bad about that, because she didn't deserve that.
Mhm.
She didn't deserve what happened. She didn't deserve what happened. But on the other side, I had taken responsibility for my education. Me not leave it in no teacher.
Mhm.
Understand? No teacher can make me fail. You get me? And so that was my approach to stuff. And that ended the chapter of college. And then so on the last day of my last exam at UTech, I left. Oh, by the way, no. I spent 2 years. UTech was 3 years. 2 years out of that, I was homeless because my mother threw me out of the house. I studied under street light. I live in my granduncle folkhood, empty folkhood. And that was my life.
Oh.
And I was comfortable. I made it my home. It was my situation. And I was not going to be no victim and not do well and not compete strongly in my education because I have some excuse and some story. You understand? That ain't gonna happen. I go on the street, like go study. Right? And on the last day, I came back and I was watching a little TV. I did get. And I saw it was earring week, earring anniversary week, and they were celebrating. They were have church service and whatnot, and they were talking about things that people could qualification you would have subjects to be a pilot. And I thought, well, yeah, one time it did cross my mind someone would like to be a pilot, and I have those qualifications. So yeah, I guess we could have think about joining the JDF. And so it started, and people at church encouraged me, and I went and did it. I turned up at the gate. At camp, and the MP asked me. I say I come to join the JDF, and him say you come to join you as an officer, and I look at it, think and go, yeah. I mean, but most. But I had, of course, no Scooby that it is possible to join straight as an officer.
Yeah.
Nah, Jesus, I'm still country. What you expect? You understand?
Mhm.
Me no know these things. Me no know nothing about these things. So him ask me, what your qualification? So I tell him and tell him I just finished university. Oh, okay, you come for join as officer. All right, fine. Good. And him give me the guidance. And I went and applied and eventually get called to do the selection board and thing, and I passed. One of few selection board those days, it was easy for you to do selection board for candidate 13, 20 candidates to do it and nobody no pass. You get 1 or 2 pass, almost that was a lot. I was one of the successful candidates.
Nice.
And that started a new chapter in my life. I left straight out of my folklore, straight into Newcastle.
Wow.
Straight from Newcastle eventually, after a bout of leptospirosis. My life after me eventually the boss man. It
Full
just
adventure.
it just can't go just
You need
straight
to put that in our
and
book, Lieutenant Colonel,
boss
man.
man,
Need
they
to
catch
put that in our book.
leptospirosis up there, up at Newcastle. And it was after a field, we go to the field for 2 weeks at the end of recruit training. And we back and it's supposed to be boxing now, recruit boxing. Man, I'm feeling sick. I am having 10 different symptoms every 5 minutes, boss man. And I go to the training officer, I tell the training officer that I'm feeling sick. And I suppose, as a good training officer should do, he suspect that I was trying to get out of the boxing. So him say, after the boxing, you can report sick. As a good potential officer, I salute and carry on. Next day, I go boxing done. Boxing finished with me getting a punch in what turned out to be my kidney area, and I felt like somebody ran a sword through my side. I collapsed on the ground, and the next day, as the training officer said, I went to the medic, and the medic looked at me and he said, "Let me see your toenail." I'm like, "Why would you want to see my toenail?" I said, "Look here, get on the next vehicle. You're going down to a park camp." Boss man, I don't know what is happening. Apparently, I was jaundiced, everything yellow, and thing. So I come down, send me go test me for leptospirosis. The test came back negative at first. They had me there for 2 more weeks now on the bay, trying to figure out what I want. During these 2 weeks, I'm getting more infected. So they send me back out again to test for leptospirosis again. This time the test come back positive, but now I had a renal infection as well. Boy. This is December. This is late December. I'm lined up to go on course at Sanders in January, early January. And me want to go. Me do my time in Newcastle, me want to go. Christmas, they sent us home off the bay to go look for our parents. And I went home to Whitehall, check my mother. And while I was there waiting for Christmas dinner, I started feeling really sick. But I have my course on my mind, and I want to go off to England to train. So I need to convince myself that I'm in good order. So I run from Whitehall, go straight up to Stony Hill. Run and feel good while I'm running. Run, come back down. As soon as I stopped, as soon as I wasn't moving again, sick like dog. Me just tell mommy, I'm gone. Gone, just go back on the bed, go lie down. Just sick. Took me a few months before I eventually got off the bed. Needless to say, I missed the course at Sanders. But that was only one of the things that has led me to conclude that anything in life that I try hard to get that doesn't work out for me, always work out for the best. It worked out far, far better than I want. Every single time in life that I tried hard for something to happen and it didn't happen for me, it always worked out way better than I planned it. Because I got to go to the Commando Training Center, Royal Marines. And my God, was that ever the best thing? Boss man, that was another change in my life. I remember I said that I initiated joining the JDF because I had seen the air wing thing and I thought, all right, I could and whatever. And I had actually done the aptitude test and I had actually passed the aptitude test. But you see, once I touched Limestone, where they call pilots glorified taximan, boss man, that is the furthest thing from my mind. I have nothing to do with no taxi. Look here, I was a steely-eyed dealer of death, and all I wanted to be was on the ground, dealing death. That's it. That was it. Sure. So I didn't pay no attention to no airing after that. Understand? I was an infantier. I just want to be on the ground doing that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And you notice Marlon called me Warlord when he
Yeah.
And that was it. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. I mean, so that was how I transitioned into life in the JDF. I mean, and then that started a new adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I loved leadership, and now that I have left the JDF, I don't miss being in the JDF, but I miss the many opportunities I had to be a father or brother to hundreds of people at one time. Literally hundreds of people at one time. I was there for them. I loved them and they loved me. And well, at least when I wasn't punishing them really harsh. I loved that. I was a mentor for them. I guided them. I looked out for them. I was their friend. I was their father. I was their brother. I loved that. I was a soldier alongside them on patrol.
Mm-hmm.
I let them lead me and tell me what they want me to do, even though I am way senior to them. I let them decide how a lot of things should go. It was an absolute new life.
Wow.
And yeah, it was special.
Yeah.
And for the record, how many years you served in the JDF?
Up to the point when I retired, it was 26 years. I've since transferred to the second class, which, and then if it count, but I still hold my commission. I didn't retire the commission.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 26 years in the regular force and the last almost 3 years in the reserve. So second class in the reserve.
So tell us about the story now, the transition after military life. What are you doing?
Tennis, and
how did you get into tennis? Or an army man get into tennis?
Boss man, no. One Saturday morning, I have known at the infantry officers' mess where we lived, and Dean Robinson, another lieutenant at the time, second lieutenant I think he was at the time, just like me. He had 2 rackets. He said, Warrenton, you want to go by the club, go play some tennis? And I go, boss man, up to this point, I've never spelled the word tennis before that. Like I didn't, me a countryman, me don't know nothing no tennis. I knew it. I make sure.
He's never spelled the word tennis.
It was almost as though I didn't know it at all. Anyway, so we are going. I'm into the adventure, so I went up there. I hit more of the balls. It would have been better if he invited me for cricket. I hit more balls that I hit on the tennis court. But from that fateful day, I went and buy my own racket and I never left the tennis court.
Yeah.
I have spent so many hours on a tennis court by myself that if you add up those hours, it would easily add up to over a year. Easily. I had no problem being on a court for 5 hours, practicing my serve, practicing something by myself. I was quite at peace. And because the court gave me so much tranquility, let's use that word. When it was in a state of disrepair, I didn't have to bat an eye to take money out of my own pocket to fix it. It was a decent change. But if you stop breathing and you can spend the money to go to the doctor, start breathe again.
Yeah. Yep.
Tennis is like breathing for me. It is like that. That there's no other way to describe it. It's like breathing. Prior to tennis, though, while I was in the military, I was asked to be the president of Jamaica Volleyball Association. That's another story. Me don't know how me get this up. But them asked me, and apparently nobody else never want to work. And I say, if nobody don't want to work and you insist, well, boom. I spent 4 years doing that, and I learned a lot
Yeah.
I grew a lot.
And you're saying prior to that, you had no volleyball experience? None
Well,
of...
no, I was playing around. JDF have more volleyball court than Soldier, you know. Batman, ask Marlon. JDF have a volleyball court every which corner you turn. How them say Chinaman shit up a shot for every corner?
Yeah.
JDF have a volleyball court every corner you
Wow.
turn. So you play volleyball.
Yeah.
And
It's an
what
army
happened was
thing,
that
Pete. It's an army thing. Anywhere we go, we play volleyball
you
or
play
football.
volleyball.
That's
And
how
what
it goes.
happened as well is that when JDF has a team that plays in national level
The
events,
domestic league, yeah.
they put an officer in charge of the team
Yeah.
for administrative and supervisor and leadership role. It wasn't that I was a member of the team. It wasn't that I was good to make the team. I was there to make sure that the team don't get no trouble and then never answer to the JDF for it. And while I was doing that, maybe people in the volleyball community see me and may think something of me. They don't know. I mean, that blindsided me.
Wow.
But eventually them ask. Eventually when them asked me, I couldn't even name the 12 clubs that were a part of the national local competition.
Set up, yeah.
Me never know them. Me know the JDF team. Because me don't know nobody else. I mean, maybe know one or two, maybe Huey and something, but I couldn't name the 12 clubs. Let alone telling you about Kazova, Caribbean Zonal Volleyball Association, which 1 year later I became a vice president of, or NORCECA, the North Central America and Caribbean Confederation, which is the equivalent of CONCACAF for those who are familiar with football, which I became a board member of. Me never know nothing about them people. Me don't know nothing about volleyball. But, as me say, no teacher can make me fail. And if me have a job to do, if me take on a job to do, it is going to be done, and it is going to be done well. It's not going to be a matter of whether I pass. It's going to be a matter of how well I pass. You understand? So that happened. That was a little sojourn in my life. It really shaped me in a lot of ways, both as an army officer and as a person. So I really treasure that experience. I thank God for it, and I treasured it. But tennis was my love. Tennis was what I was playing every single day of the week, literally, prior to volleyball. Volleyball mashed up my tennis, in a sense. But I came back to it with the same love and passion and thing. And then I eventually find that people asking me for advice, and two girls, two really lovely looking girls, asked me to coach them. One day after I gave them some advice, they asked if I would coach them. And I was flabbergasted that these girls thought enough of my instruction to really want me to coach them. Me a married man and me there one brother. Me not in the galleys.
Yeah. You said that from high school days. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember?
Yeah, man. Hey, the story about me, I tell you what, trust me.
I'm a quote unquote bad days, but my bad days was with one person.
Yes.
One person, then the next person, then the next, but it's always one at a time. My wife didn't believe me. Well, she was uncomfortable that I was getting up early in the morning to go and coach these lovely looking young ladies. And you know, I said, but they're all right. You don't believe me, I look them. You know me, you don't believe me, I look them. You don't believe them gonna hold me down and rate me. So what the problem? Them a pay me for teach them something. What the problem? I'm insist. I said, okay, may I teach them? You depend your own. This is a foolishness. May depend your own. And eventually, one day, it just out of the quiet, she explained to me that for 9 months she was pregnant. Her life changed. All sorts of something changed about her life and whatever it's not. She gave birth, but she have the youth and she have to deal with that and she have to deal with everything that come with that. And at no point my life changed. And I get to carry on and do my thing and get up out of bed early and instead of hug her up and thing, gone, but me a coach woman. And then me said, but dear, why never do say that? Because all of a sudden the thing make a whole heap of sense. All of a sudden things start make a whole heap of sense to me. You understand? I'm just tell the ladies, I said, ladies, sorry, you know. Really enjoy doing this, but yeah, me have a duty call.
Yeah.
And so I ended that, but the calling to coach, help people, to mentor, continued. And you know, little here and little there, people ask me, and it grew and started in 2018, and it grew a little and it grew a little. Remember one time I called Bridget Murphy Price and said, Murphy, you know, so I could earn $60,000 of a coaching tennis. Like, I mean, like, and people actually pay me $60,000 in a month to teach them tennis. And me would almost do it for free.
Yep.
We can't believe that
shall
people
make
actually
room,
willing
sir.
to
Your
pay
gift
me.
shall make room.
Yeah, you mean people
Yes.
willing to pay me money. And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. And next thing I know, I've retired from the force and I've started the Tennis Colonel Academy. Of course, the word colonel is spelled with a K, K-E-R-N-E-L. It's a play on my military rank, of course, but it is actually an emphasis on that word, which means the central part of something. And what I try to teach are those central concepts, whether they be physics, biology, chemistry, or psychology, as I see them, that helps a player to be ready for the day. I somehow, I can look on a football match and tell you exactly what a guy is supposed to do with the ball. I can tell you where the balance is right now. I can tell you where the gap is. I can tell you, if you do this, the keeper is going to be caught off balance, and by the time them comes and shift them, they're gone.
Can't kick it again.
Can I play football? Not to save my life. It's the same thing with volleyball. I can tell the team, I can say, look out for the dink, because you have blocked them so many times, they're going to lose confidence, they're going to dink the ball. I can see the play. It's the same thing. I can see sports. I can actually see it. I can coach it. My level of play is good enough to win a 1 and 2 trophy at the lowest level, but it's not.
Just wasn't the calling.
Yeah. It's not the calling. Understand? I'm into coaching.
Yes.
And it's not coaching tennis. It's coaching life.
Yes.
People. Coaching life. It is it's a mentorship.
Yes.
It's a mentorship program that uses tennis as a vehicle.
Yes.
You understand? It trust me, I am bonded with my kids like them parents. Understand? Me find it hard for them to play a tournament and me not there. If I'm not there, it's because I can't be there. It don't make no sense for them to be having a tournament. I'm not there.
And you're not.
Let me comment on this point, Pete. Like just recently, we at the officers club in camp, and it started to rain, and Mr. Warrenton and one of his students, and I think probably, I don't know if the student's parent or somebody, them come in the clubhouse and sit down. Our officer walk up and say, wait, rain a fall and a warlord inside? Not normal. Why, Pete? Pity we never know, it's like Warlord that build up the little girl courage, man.
If we go out
As
there.
the rain start come down, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Grab her and she grab her tennis racket and them out there run up and down, So what he does, as a matter of fact, is build character.
Yeah.
To let them know that rain or shine, you have to go out there, go perform and do your thing. So I don't know joke thing, Warrenton, I tell you, we see them all the while.
Yeah.
All the while. Sometimes we feel sorry for them out there, when we see them, hey, man, go at them, but it builds character.
Yeah.
It builds character.
And they have fun. Keep them love, like with me ramping at the puddle. Sometimes the court floods so much that the water over your ankle. We go ramping at the puddle and thing together and have fun together because me mean to them. Me shout after them and me mean. Me army. Me bring my army self and loud mouth self and me shout after them. But them know some love them. And playing in a dirty water with them and thing, it creates that bond.
Yes, it does.
Creates that bond with them. So them understand me and they want to deliver.
Yes.
They want to deliver. And fortunately, I will say I've been blessed with the percentage of my kids that at tournaments turn away with medals and trophies and stuff.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
I've been blessed. Me keep cringing every time, because I tell them it's really not about winning so much, It's about improvement. If you're if you are focusing on the score, you're not focusing on the right thing, because guess what? In a tennis tournament, in any sport, you're going to have more competitors than the person who can win. Only one somebody can win.
Only one. There you go.
Only one somebody can win. And even the person who wins or the person who loses wants a lot of competitors in the sport. Because without a lot of competitors in sport, it's not a sport.
Yeah.
Amen.
So, understand? So you need a lot of competitors in the sport, and I want somebody can win. So get what it means. A whole heap of people better learn how to lose.
Yep.
You have to learn how to do it. And if you have the right focus, if you're channeled correctly in terms of what do I want to achieve, how do I want to improve, what is it I played that stroke just now, I won the point, but is that the way I wanted to play it? I played that stroke just now, I lost the point, but is that the way I wanted to play it? And if yes, well, do it again. You understand? Measure the things that are inside your control.
Yes.
Measure those things. Cherish those things.
Yes.
Study the opponent. That is also in your control. See if the opponent has a weak backhand or forehand. See if they're weak at a short ball or a high bouncing ball. That's in your control. Play the ball the way you think. But don't try to take control of the opponent's brain.
Yes.
Paralyze them so they can't think, so you can win. That's not gonna happen, man. That's not gonna happen.
Agree.
So just be happy that you are brilliant enough to try, you're courageous enough to try, and you will go out there and fight every day after day, learning, do it again, learning, do it again, learning, do it again.
Thank you, Warrenton.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. This quote I say to them several times. The brave may fall, but never yield. I have said to them, it's not a. I mean, yes, of course. Trust me.
It's synonymous with KC.
Me punch them with KC stuff from time to time. But it's not a gimmick. I don't know who thought about that.
What?
Yeah, man.
Yes, for real.
I don't know who
with you
thought
on that
about
one day.
but it is
Yes.
profound enough.
Yes.
It is profound enough,
1925
guy.
and beyond.
I believe when we spoke to Miss Douglas, she even commented on that there's something about that motto.
That's something about that
came
motto.
up with that,
My
that
gosh.
part of it is just
Look,
yeah, man.
when you say to a school, when you look on a George is in a Manning Cup or JC or Calabar in a track and say, look here, I will drop 1,000 times, but I will never surrender.
Yep.
I will never, ever, ever surrender to you. You know how much that hurts?
Yeah, man.
You know how much that hurts them? I will never, ever surrender to you. Never.
But with that mindset, Warrenton, we want to thank you very much because, you know, you're a real warlord, you know, we have to wrestle the mic from you like a bounty killer, you know, because you're just a whole thing and a DJ. And we really appreciate it. So,
Stories and journeys, man.
yeah,
Stories
man,
and journeys.
and we really appreciate it. So, as we say, Warrenton, there are two things we want to do before you end. One, to just let people know where they can find if they're interested in their kids or they even themselves wanting to learn to play tennis. When this episode is posted, we will put that information as well. If you don't have to share the phone number if there's a contact details via social media or so forth, you can say that as well. A website, we'll leave an email so somebody can contact you. But you want to say that, and then after you say that, just to use the opportunity to say wish the great Kingston College happy birthday, and a closing message to all our KC people out there, old boys, current students, parents, teachers, administrators, coaches, everybody, supporters. Hold the mic now, Warlord.
All right. Yeah, in terms of contact, I'm on Instagram, the Tennis Colonel Academy.
Nice.
I Colonel with a K. And yeah, you can find me. My number is open to everybody. It has always been. 876-322-0235. Me run with people if them come to me with them rubbish anyway, so people can call me. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, that's 876-322-0235. Yes. Some you talk about memorable people like Casey, and I really miss Douglas. I don't know Miss Douglas. Miss Douglas help a lot of people still, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I don't know Miss Douglas say me need help, but she did identify that. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate the help that I get. Mr. Stewart, our metalwork teacher, was a memorable kind of guy. He was a mentor. He wasn't just a metalwork. He mentored us.
Yeah.
And that was good. My two chemistry teachers, I remember Mr. Dele, I don't remember. And I saw her the other day. I went on a KC center running now. And her name has slipped me right now, chemistry teacher. But they were there. You notice that a chemistry I study at university. They caused me to love chemistry. And I really had that. So they were there. I certainly want to. I am happy to be a part of the celebration of the school centenary. I am happy to be a child, a product of the school, a part of it, that the blood runs through me. I'm not an outsider.
Yes.
Speaking and wishing Casey happy birthday, 100th birthday. I am a part of it.
Yes.
And it's a great pleasure to say happy 100th birthday, all Fortis. Like to the core.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
For the students of the school, boss man, if you want a message, look at the school motto.
Yes.
There's a whole heap of falling to do in life. There's a whole heap of falling. Life is a hurdles race. Don't be surprised that there are hurdles, boss man. Life is a hurdles race. Your job is to jump over them, go through them, go round them, get up, drop, get up, go again, finish.
Yes.
You know, must come first. What you must do is never yield.
Yes.
Never. That, boss man, there's no more appropriate message for anybody at KC right now than the motto. We take it for granted. We go down with, they just say it. You know what I mean? We just say it.
Yeah. Well,
Make
them know in a Warrenton if a man can walk from Dallas to KC and back in a pink Bruce Lee suit.
Look here, man. Look here.
Can't hold you, brother.
Can't hold you. I am challenged. I put out them challenging we do for the Facebook and social media. They put out a challenge. Me a guy who will even put on the big Bruce Lee suit.
I don't know. I'm going to ask anybody if they remember anyone showed up at Mayfair in a pink
Bruce Lee suit.
Jumper suit. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but I'm sure my classmates remember. That boy, they will laugh at me all the while.
Well, I definitely want to say, Lieutenant Colonel, it's an honor to have you share your story with us. I personally want to say, as one author, if you haven't written your book yet, sir, please,
A good story that
you need to put that in a
we
book.
capture all of that Warrenton. Yeah,
My
man.
cheeks are hurting me, sir. And I'm glad I have a mic that muted because sometimes we want to bust out a laugh, and I'm glad because we're recording. So I strongly recommend it because there's so many would learn from your story. And I am going to steal some of your story and share it because I actually speak and do some of the coaching like you, just in a different realm. And those stories is what actually encourage the others and the people, and they'll be like, what? So my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, there you have heard it. 1925 and Beyond podcast has brought to you here. I'm going to call him the countryman, the life coach, Lieutenant Colonel Warlord. And like you've heard it from himself, the man that showed up in the pink jumper suit
That
like
one.
Bruce Lee,
That
comes
that
from the
one.
great school in Jamaica, Kingston College, otherwise known as KC. And today we just want to say thank you. Thank you. Big up yourself. And I look forward to seeing you when I come to the island there and come to the officers club. Now me know definitely me I'll come over there and give you a high five. We'll have the connection. If I'm disturbing, let me know. No, Pete, disturbing because you're in the middle
No,
of
man,
coaching. I
you're
understand those.
Casey, man. There's
Yeah,
no
man. But
disturbance,
no
man.
longer
Everybody,
just
you come, man.
walking by.
Everybody stand to attention, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Casey.
Yeah, understand. But thank you, Colonel. It's been a pleasure. And I look
Absolutely,
forward
sir.
to more and more connections with you and leading forward to the furthers of growth of Kingston College. And appreciate you, sir. So big up yourself.
All right, cool.
Brave may fall, but
Appreciate it.
never yield, man.
Yes,
Fortis,
yes,
Cadere,
yes, yes,
CEDRE,
yes, yes,
non-Potest.
yes.